Across the sprawling forests and city edges of North America, a new kind of predator is rising, one forged not by time alone, but by the mingling of three species. The coy wolf, a powerful hybrid of coyote, wolf, and domestic dog, is quietly taking hold in ecosystems once ruled by larger, now absent carnivores. As cougars and gray wolves dwindle from human expansion, this unexpected newcomer is stepping up. And it's not just surviving, it's thriving. The story of the coy wolf began in the early 20th century, when deforestation, urbanization, and hunting fragmented the wilderness of the northeastern United States and Canada. As wolves vanished, coyotes, once confined to western North America, ventured east. There they encountered the last few wolves and, in overlapping territories, interbred. Adding to this mix were domestic dogs, further blending the genetic pool. Over several generations, this gene sharing produced something new: the coy wolf. Genetically, coy wolves are approximately 60% coyote, 25% wolf, and 15% domestic dog. But their success lies not just in their ancestry, but in the evolutionary synergy it created. From the coyote, they inherit street smarts, adaptability, and a willingness to scavenge or hunt. The wolf contributes size, strength, and coordinated pack behavior. And the domestic dog's influence adds a surprising twist: increased boldness, and perhaps a degree of behavioral flexibility that helps coy wolves navigate urban and suburban environments. Physically, coy wolves are distinct. They're larger than coyotes, with longer legs, broader skulls, and more muscular frames, often weighing between 20 and 50 pounds, with some individuals growing even bigger. They maintain the sleek agility of coyotes, but with a wolf's jaw strength and endurance. This combination allows them to take down prey like deer, something coyotes typically avoid. They often form small packs, allowing for complex social dynamics and more efficient hunting. In urban areas like New York, Boston, and Toronto, coy wolves have learned to maneuver around highways, sneak through greenbelts, and scavenge for food without attracting attention. They've even adapted their activity patterns, becoming more nocturnal to avoid human contact. In fact, many people don't even realize coy wolves live near them until they hear the eerie chorus of their hybrid howls, somewhere between a wolf's deep bellow and a coyote's sharp yips. But while their adaptability is impressive, it raises important ecological and ethical questions. Could the coy wolf become North America's dominant predator? In many areas, it already acts as one. By preying on overpopulated species like deer and rodents, coy wolves help restore ecological balance, much like wolves once did. They also influence prey behavior through fear, changing foraging patterns and nesting sites. Yet, there are concerns. Coy wolves can compete with native predators such as foxes, bobcats, and raccoons, potentially reshaping food webs. Their predation on smaller animals, especially in cities, can impact local biodiversity. And while they're effective hunters, they're not large enough to take down bigger animals like moose or elk, which limits their reach in some ecosystems. Genetically, another threat looms: dilution. As coy wolves continue to breed with coyotes and domestic dogs, there's a risk that their unique traits could blur back into one of their parent species. Conservationists debate whether hybrid species like coy wolves deserve the same protections as traditional species. Some see them as symbols of nature's resilience. Others label them pests. Their future may depend not only on biology, but on public perception. Still, the coy wolf's rise is a clear example of evolution in real time. In less than a century, this hybrid has emerged, expanded, and flourished. And it's not the only animal following this path. On the other side of the world, in the vast and often unforgiving wilderness of Australia, another predator is evolving, not through hybridization, but through raw, natural selection. The feral cat. Originally brought over by European settlers in the 1700s, domestic cats were introduced to Australia to control pests on ships and in settlements. But some escaped, or were deliberately released into the wild. The result? An ecological disaster, and nigh potentially a biological transformation. Feral cats in Australia are nothing like the house cats most people know. They've adapted to one of the most punishing landscapes on Earth. In the absence of native land predators, they've taken over as apex hunters in many regions, and their toll is devastating. 27 native species have been driven to extinction due to feral cat predation. Another 124 are currently at risk. Every year, feral cats in Australia kill more than 1 billion native mammals, despite high-tech efforts to track and cull them. Automated traps, poison baits designed not to harm other wildlife, and camera surveillance, the population remains resilient. Why? Because feral cats in Australia have evolved both physically and behaviorally to dominate the environment. Today's Australian feral cats often weigh up to 15 kilograms, twice the size of an average domestic cat. They've grown longer, stronger, and faster. They now hunt a wide range of prey, from rodents and birds to larger marsupials like wallabies, possums, and even young kangaroos. In places where foxes and dingoes haven't reached, these cats have become the top predator. What makes them grow so large? Part of the answer lies in opportunity. With no major predators to fear, they don't need to stay small and hidden. They can access a rich buffet of medium-sized prey, which fuels their growth and reproductive success. And unlike their urban feral cousins in other parts of the world, these cats operate in remote outback territories, untouched by people, undisturbed by development. But their transformation isn't just physical, their behavior has shifted too. They no longer behave like pets gone rogue. These cats are stealthy, calculated, and efficient hunters. Over generations, their instincts have sharpened, and they've become remarkably well adapted to the challenges of life in the wild. Could they one day be considered a new species? Some scientists argue it's possible, if not inevitable. Currently, feral cats in Australia still interbreed with rural domestic cats. But if the wild population grows large enough and becomes aggressive enough to start preying on the smaller domestic ones, genetic isolation could occur. And if that happens, we could witness a true speciation event, something that typically requires at least a 2% difference in DNA and reproductive isolation. And examples of rapid evolution aren't rare. In Florida, green anole lizards developed longer toe pads in just 15 years to adapt to pressure from invasive brown anoles. Guppies exposed to new predators in the wild evolved in only a few generations, becoming smaller, maturing faster, and producing more offspring. Climate change is already driving animals like salmon and owls to adapt genetically to new seasonal patterns. Australia has seen other introduced animals evolve into distinct niches. The dingo, introduced thousands of years ago from Asia, is now considered a wild icon of the continent. Though its status as a species remains debated, its ecological role is undeniable. Likewise, Madagascar's forest cats, descended from ferals, have become biologically unique over thousands of years. And on Corsica, a mysterious feline, once thought to be a stray, was recently confirmed as genetically distinct, now recognized as its own wild species. Could the same happen to feral cats in Australia? It's possible, The conditions are ideal: isolation, abundant resources, and no significant predators. If evolution continues down this path, we might one day add a new name to the list of Australia's native fauna. Felis australis, perhaps. Of course, this all hinges on one thing: whether the government allows the process to continue. Efforts to eradicate feral cats are ongoing. Many conservationists argue that their impact on native wildlife is too great to justify letting them persist. Others suggest that eradication is no longer realistic and that adaptation, both ecological and policy-based, is necessary. What we're witnessing on opposite ends of the Earth is evolution as it happens. In North America, a hybrid predator is emerging from genetic fusion. In Australia, an invader is transforming through environmental pressure. Both stories challenge how we define species, how we manage ecosystems, and how we understand the pace of change in nature. Will coy wolves and feral cats be apex predators of tomorrow? That depends on how we choose to respond. But one thing is clear: nature is not waiting, it's evolving. If you enjoyed this video, leave us a like, subscribe for more deep dives into wildlife and evolution, and let us know in the comments: should these animals be protected as emerging species or controlled as invasive threats? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.